Hey there, productivity pals. Today you're getting a pep talk. Do you ever feel like you're putting in time and working hard and nothing is happening? You're doing it, and you're not getting results? Yeah, same. So I gave it some thought and I want to share my perspective with you on this. Here's the thing. It's my belief that just because you spent time on something that didn't result in a specific outcome right away doesn't mean it wasn't time well spent. Let me show you what I mean, dear productivity pals. Here's actually something I wrote in my journal over a year ago. And by the way, yes, I journal about my productivity experience because observing and reflecting on how things are going, it's the you to do you way. It's how we kindly make improvements to our lives that are based on genuine support for what we need. We observe, we reflect, we make changes to support ourselves. So anyway, here's what I wrote that day. I'm just going to read it to you. I committed to my friends that I was going to move forward on this channel and that my next step was solving a gear problem. Side note, by the way, congratulations to me for identifying the next action, the next step. When you've got a challenge or a goal like move forward on this channel, that's pretty vague. And it's hard to actually move forward on it unless you've identified what you can do to move things forward. And at the time, I'd identified, hey, my camera is not working for me. My setup just isn't making things easy. I need to get new equipment. So the fact that I identified that really made it possible for me to actually move forward. So good for me. Anyway, continuing on. So I watched a few videos on how other YouTubers solve this gear problem, and I browsed on the web for products. But then I was starting to run out of time. So then, I noticed. Noticed what? Noticed that I wanted to rush to make the purchase so that A, I could have it done because I wrote here because not my favorite part. Not a full sentence there, but mostly B, so I could feel like I have done something. I really wanted to check off that box, get that satisfaction, and move on. So, with this relatively small gear search example, here's my proposal to you. What if the problem isn't that you aren't making progress, but that you're not counting it? Because in fact, I did do something. I learned what my options were, and I started shopping. Just because I didn't have something to show for it yet didn't mean I wasted my time. So what's going on here? So in this camera example, I paused. And not taking that moment, that pause, to notice the urge to check off that box would have led me to rush to buying a camera just so I could feel like I had done something. And I'll tell you, I've done it before. I rushed to purchase and I bought the wrong stuff and I have some expensive gear just sitting collecting dust to prove it. So this time around, I took my time learning what my criteria were. What do I need in my new equipment? What do I want to, get out of the functionality? What's my price point and so forth? And then I looked for it. And the truth is, it might take more than one sitting, and that's okay. And the icing on top, I gave myself credit for doing what I did. It is so important to stop and notice what we have accomplished. We do need to be our own cheerleaders in these situations when the outcome itself isn't giving it to us. And I'm not just being like, yay, for no reason. This cheerleading is not for nothing. When we take that moment to recognize the win, we're getting the satisfaction that we're craving out of what we did. We're short-circuiting that part of us that just wants to click buy on the first camera that seems sort of right, just so we can be done. Instead, I say to myself, yes, I showed up and I moved things forward. I spent time researching, learning, and shopping, and I got that much closer to the right camera investment that I'm not going to regret. And this isn't just about camera purchases, of course. I have a story from my days in college as a music major that is relevant here. One day we were hanging around the music building and someone says, man, some days I just practice and it's a slog and it's like I'm not getting anywhere. And then some days I sound amazing and it's all perfect. And we were like commiserating and saying, whoa, yeah, man, good. Yeah, there's like good days and bad days and that's just how it goes. And then someone, I don't remember who, was like, no, dude, you have those good days because you had all those crappy, sloggy days. You practiced before the good stuff showed up. In other words, the lesson is that effort and results are not always perfectly aligned. Sometimes you have to slog through before you see the results you want to see. You gotta have faith. Honestly, some of this that I'm saying here today seems kind of obvious when we say it out loud, but I am saying it out loud Because sometimes at least maybe you, operate as if I have to accomplish everything in one go. And by the way, that one go has to be right now. And then if we don't get it all done right now, we can feel low or frustrated or whatever. And those negative emotions, they tend to sap my energy and stifle forward momentum, which is the opposite of what we want. I'm certainly not asking you to squelch your feelings. You have the negative feelings that you have, and that's fine. But can you also bring in some positive recognition for your effort while you're at it? Can you give yourself a sense of satisfaction even if you haven't reached the final desired outcome yet, by just recognizing what you've done so far? So, what are we trying to frame here? Sometimes stuff can't be done in one go. In fact, lots of stuff. Preparing a piano sonata for your recital, cleaning out your garage, shopping for new cameras. Sometimes I can prepare a client's tax return in one sitting. Often I can't. All of that is okay. I think this is why you hear baby steps, or how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Or how do you move a mountain? One rock at a time. You hear that kind of advice, it's shared over and over again because we do need to hear it over and over again. And I'm here to amplify that and to say that sometimes if all you're doing is moving a small hill instead of an entire mountain, if all you're doing is purchasing some camera gear, you still have to do it one rock at a time. The search for that camera took me a few sittings. That's okay. It took me a long time to prepare for my senior recital as a college student. That's okay. Sometimes I have to prepare a complex corporate tax return in several passes. Okay. We know that's how it goes, and we give ourselves credit for what we did every time we did it if that's going to help us, A, not needlessly rush, and B, not get down on ourselves, which can lead to losing momentum. And guess what? Sometimes we put in effort and it isn't just delayed. The outcome never comes. We get nothing. Or seemingly nothing. I'll tell you, I have a fridge clean out video, a decluttering challenge video, and a makeover of this space, all started and abandoned because I learned along the way that they weren't fun to make and I was barking up the wrong tree. But I'm now even more confident in what I do produce because of those false starts. Now I know that I could admire all those folks who produce cleaning and decluttering and makeover videos, and that I will continue to admire them from afar. That's not what I do. So I'm curious, do you have any half-finished projects that you need to give yourself some credit for? Or what music recital equivalent are you inching towards practice session by practice session that you need to give yourself some credit for? Or what have you worked on sincerely, but also wisely let go of because it wasn't the right path? In all those cases, can you just let them breathe and just be what they are without rushing or insisting that the final outcome be here immediately? Can you give yourself credit for showing up and doing what you did, even if you don't have a tangible outcome right there in front of you? I hope so. Productivity is not just about the final product. Here at You to Do You, I care about your experience. We care about your journey along the way. Let us know in the comments below how this all sits with you. Do you need to give yourself credit for something and you want to share it with us? Let us know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.